I say down in the beginning because in the psyche, down and back are the same. As we go down deeper, we go back closer to origins. And so in all of the old philosophies and many of the old stories, each person is born with a core imagination that makes them unique, that is in their heart, and that has a gradient line, an unfolding plot line that is intended to lead them through life. And when it becomes a dark time, in the darkness right away, we're supposed to follow that inner gradient. And then the soul gives us what we can't find in the outside world. And so I think we're in that condition collectively. That is to say, it's very hard to find hope in the outside world right now. It's often hard to find meaning in the outside world right now. And so therefore we have to turn and find it within.
A ripple effect. I'm looking for me. And when you start looking for yourself, the boogeyman don't like that. That's what killed the boogeyman. The boogeyman was created when we stop seeking ourselves. And the boogeyman gonna be destroyed when we start that journey back of seeking the self.
It has to come from the heart of human beings.
Transforming your energy into something lighter.
What we have to do is enter back inside of ourselves and retrace our steps.
To ascend. How you define and perceive and think about reality from the inside out is what nature projects back to you. That's why I keep calling it a mirrorverse. Everything bad about your reality is really the bad shit inside of you being projected outward. And you trying to fix the world outside is basically you trying to fix the world inside. That's what this mirror matrix is all about. You're running a simulation inside of your own mind. And this whole reality is on the inside, not the outside. Think of a caterpillar in a cocoon. That's what we're looking at here.
We're really supposed to die and be born again and again.
We correct the course by looking within ourselves, separating from thought, and rising above these types of thought. Be renewed in your mind.
The monochord of the monad is like one string vibrating infinite frequencies. And all of us, and let's call that string and that frequency, that infinite source of vibration, let's call that God. And all of us are fractals of that source, that main source. All of us are the same string being vibrated, but we're all different octaves, different frequencies. Through our epigenetic structure, our DNA, our ancestral memories, our collective subconscious, and the world consciousness, the culture we're born into, the time and place we're placed, this antenna just gets that frequency. That is us. That's your soul. The key to life was amor fati. It's love of one's fate. It's drinking your cup, carrying your cross, knowing that you came here to die. That's why we live. We're eternal beings. The purpose of this thing is to die with a fucking purpose. People are mocking you no matter what the hell you do. Nobody's listening but you, really. It's all about rewriting your story, turning your tragedy into a comedy, and figuring out why you went through all this shit, and getting it off your chest and off of your mind and off of your soul.
So we are silencing ourselves, we're quieting ourselves, we're meditating, we're slowing our energy down, and by slowing down the energy of the body, you speed up the energy of the soul, which is what the soul needs to beam. And the soul is telling the body, slow down, be quiet, and so you can listen to me and take slow actions that will get more done. The soul takes calculated actions over time and slow itself down, and those actions will create giant leaps in your life. And you will look back at those calculated, premeditated thoughts and say, damn, ever since I tapped into myself and did that, it changed my life in a big way. To come up out of your cocoon, to come up out of your sleep, Neo, to come up out the matrix. The only way out of it is awakening, free the mind. Bursting out of that represent the resurrection of the soul, the resurrection of the true and real self. And that's escaping off of the potter's wheel. That's when the God manifests himself as your savior.
Your imagination is probably what determines what's really possible in this reality. It's all mind. Everything is mental.
The one that became two, now we see the evolution, don't we? The two becomes one. See? God split, the two are separated, and man's eternal quest is to break down the barrier, which is called the veil, to the holy place, and reunite himself with this divine consciousness which we call God.
If a person wishes to be sure of the road they tread upon, they must close their eyes and walk in the dark.
So this world was called purgatory. And the root word of purgatory is purge, and the other one is Tory, which is the Taurus field. Our souls came to get the negative energy out of itself. Your soul had too much negative energy in it. And to keep balance, it had to purge out some of that negative energy. And it did it by coming to where all the souls go, to purge, purgatory.
There is a knowing. There is a knowing that's underneath the forgetfulness, right? So it's like the story is actually known and the truth is actually known. And it's actually not that we need to discover it, it's that we need to remember it. It helps remind us why we should have a little more faith, why we can have a little trust, because we're not waiting for something new. We're actually just trying to remember what we've forgotten.
Fly on upward and onward past the restrictions of time. The mysteries of God would be revealed at this point. And that's what's happening, this unveiling revelation.
In the work of turning the lead in life into the gold of creative imagination. I'm saying there's a deeper level of hope, which is vision of the future that makes sense to my soul, our souls. And so that's the distinction that I see.
We then have that which is the two becoming one, and the restoration of all things, of God, of man, woman, all of us together coming back into a oneness, which is happening.
Yet again, everyone is born with a soul, and it's the nature of the soul to want to transform and keep transforming, and it's also the nature of the soul to seek its own destiny. And destiny is an old word that gives us the term destination, but it's a star word, destinare, of the stars, as if to say, our souls are naturally inclined to go on a long path that leads us to a connection to the star that was there at our birth. And of course, a star is only visible in the nighttime, in the dark, in the darkness.
And a lot of people feel better when they start meditating and accessing the inner instead of this outer illusion that's around us. And these all could be simulations. Planets could, these things could be states of existence, states of awareness. They're all correlated. The 7 planets, they're all correlated to the 7 chakras, 7 colors, 7 notes on a musical scale, 7 archons, 7 rulers. But we can make our impression and leave our echoes here and move on to the next place, because we do have to weigh our heart and our soul at the end of this.
Casual reference to our longing for a deep sense of community, for the experience of communitas. The underlying idea is that there is a genuine bond between people based on our shared humanity that is different from some kind of herd instinct, but rather a unity of individuals being in their wholeness, or in a sense being whole together. And just as the spirit of hope has to be found in the darkness, and the threads of genius and creativity have to be found in the darkness, the true sense of shared humanity has to be found by suffering darkness and division, by finding the harmony that occurs after discord, after the periods of isolation and separation that are caused both by the COVID pandemic, but also by all the divisiveness in the culture. It involves not simply getting together, but finding ways to come together more deeply, finding ways to tap the depths of communitas, which gives us not just a deeper sense of being in it together, but also amplifies the sense of being creative about where we go next. And so that makes me want to point out that experiences of genuine communitas tend to arise unexpectedly. I like to call it sudden community. And everyone has inborn potentials, natural gifts, and threads of destiny that are connected to the core of our very souls. Those who accept the conditions of liminality become potential recipients of messages from the other world, from the realm of great imagination, messages that can be healing as well as visions that can be revelatory. The soul itself is exiled. Imagination is the key to to the esoteric levels of understanding. Imagination is the true spark of the divine in each one of us. Just as we each can imagine our own version of the burning bush, we each imagine our own unique connection to the divine. The intermediating function of imagination unites the otherwise separate states of the objective and the subjective, but it is also imagination that can immediately connect us to the essence of nature as well as to the presence of those things divine. And that brings us back to the nature of the fire in the burning bush from the old story.
The earth needs you for healing. For you to be able to activate yourself on the earth, you got to peel through the ego that you're born with to activate the soul inside. And when you distribute your energy throughout the earth, you'll be fulfilling your mission. Let the you that was sent to this earth manifest, because what's inside of you is so unique, because this body still ain't the real you. You are the energy that is inside of the body, represented by the soul. And that's why for you to leave this earth, your journey out of this earth is you unwrapping out of this cocoon. Your journey out of this earth is you unwrapping yourself from this cocoon and releasing your contents onto the earth like a pill. It's the seed, but it's in the heavens. You're in the stars, star seed.
To live on earth means to burn in one way or another. And what we call our life is also a form of combustion. We heat up with passions, and we become all fired up with ideas. We carry a flame for those we love, and at times we burn life's candle at both ends. We are on fire, each soul a spark of creation, each a star falling from the eternal sky to the dark earth. The divine spark within us is like the flame inside the burning bush. It is a gift of life, a burning birthright that makes us both the children of and at times the agents of ongoing creation.
The soul created its own life and wrote its own lifetime out before it was born.
Unbeknownst to those trapped in the exoteric level of life, we each share in the illumination of stars, in the burning heat of animal life, and ever more subtly in the cooler green fire of trees and the blue-black smoldering of water. The water is also on fire. It used to be called the blue fire, and the trees are standing up with the fire of creation, and that used to be called green fire. And our inner spark of life burns with these varying intensities throughout our lives. The flame that burns at the center of our heart and soul is our own inner nature, seen in its fiery form. And because this inner flame can take many forms, it goes by many names: spirit, imagination, purpose, intelligence, consciousness, soul, wisdom, genius. The spark of life generates both heat and light. It burns with the bodily heat. The inner flame can become more of an illumination than a source of heat. And when it burns in the right direction, the divine spark within us becomes the inner light of the soul, which opens the paths upon which our souls would have us live. In order to truly see the world, in order to genuinely help this troubled world, the eyes of the soul need to open and see not simply the exoteric level of life, but the profound, deeper levels of the esoteric in all of life. And when we see the world that way, everything suddenly lights up. Anything that draws our full attention flares with beauty before us and can spark our inner joy and remind us that we are part of creation ongoing, and reveal to us the subtleties of the mystery of creation, which was known as the eternal living flame that manifests through the constant changeability and mutability of existence, and the mystery of life, death, and renewal, intended to be experienced in esoteric terms on the human level as birth, death, and rebirth, and to further describe the esoteric story and the presence of the eternal flame of life lived in service of the esoteric.
You need to be you for you, because you already on the stage, and you already in the Truman Show, and you already a star in your own simulation matrix.
An awakening of some kind, a breaking of a spell, the opening of the inner eyes that sees the outer situation differently, learning to live the life of the soul aligns us with paths of true meaning.
To personify what we really are, what our soul really is on the inside. On the inside, we really some powerful motherfuckers. And if we can access that energy
in practice of staying near the level of revelation, in the burning of his own imagination. This is his poem about the inner flame and the flame in nature and the burning of the candle of existence and the necessity of dying metaphorically in order to be held and renewed by the mystery of life. Because one of the revelations of initiation is that human nature is connected to great nature. So that's one of the elements of the collective rite of passage that's happening, that we could become collectively more conscious. And each person born, whether they know it or not, is imbued with a unique genius, and the initiatory paths are the ways for the individual genius to awaken and become truly creative. Because of the one pathway that is an initiatory requirement for each person born on earth. The path we each and all are being called to enter is the mystery of love. The ancient Greeks called it Eros. In ancient India they called it Kama. Many mystics refer to it as the call of the beloved, but each title is a reference to a mystery that is an essential part of each person's life, but also the quintessential element of life on earth itself. What you love is the cure. It releases both knowledge and healing. What you love is the cure. It's an answer that contains a mystery that is trying to pull each of us deeper into life than we would choose to go on our own. What we love is the cure. Listen, the center leads to love, and the soul opens to creation's core. So hold on to your particular pain, for that too can take you to God. It might be helpful to remember that God is the fewest number of letters it takes to refer to the divine. Hold on to your pain, because that too might take you to the divine. Or another way to say it is, the wound can become a womb that opens to something divine hidden inside all that pain that we feel. Our souls are trying to open to creation's core. The soul opens to creation's core. We are not just the human creatures that were created. We are the human souls that are here on earth in order to help creation to continue. And isn't it the case that to be born as a human requires that some act of love at first had to occur? Are we not the products both of creation from a divine source and creation that reflects that in the procreation of human souls? The Greek name for love was Eros, who was also a god. In mythology, Eros was also called Protogonus, which means the first one born. For Eros was born out of the eternal darkness before creation, when the goddess of night mated with the wind and together produced a golden egg that was set upon the primordial ocean.
There's a higher calling. There's a higher purpose.
Eros, love, came into the gaping gap of darkness that was also called chaos. Eros had to come into the world first, for Eros is the connecting energy found in all of life. And without Eros or love being present, the created world would not have been able to come together or hold together. And the same is true at this dark, chaotic time of life on Earth. Chaos and Eros, in a sense, created the universe together, and they keep it going, even when it seems that everything is falling apart. In that sense, it can be said that love, along with chaos, makes the world go round. Without the sense of love or Eros there at the beginning, there would be no intuitive sense that we are all secretly interconnected. When we refer to how everything is now divided and people are turned against each other, and there are increasing amounts of hate in the world, what we are also saying is there's a lack of Eros, there's a lack of love, there's a loss of the bestowing soul that otherwise would remind us that we are in this together. In terms of ongoing creation, you could say that the amount of Eros or love present in each of our lives determines the state of our individual souls, but also the state of the collective condition that everyone shares in. In the territory of love, the lovers don't bother to consider what other people think of them. They just stay busy at the act of creating more love. When the world is falling apart around us, it's hard not to feel anger and fear and other emotions. But it also makes sense to, at times, let those emotions run through us. And after they have gone through, that we are not left empty and we are not left in the darkness of despair. If we are true to our own souls, we are left at the gates of surrender.
You are your own higher God who did your own ritual to create your body and experience in this realm for whatever you're learning you trying to do.
To let go and surrender, not to despair, not to nihilism, not simply to darkness, but surrender in a way that opens the doors that lead to love. I've been waiting to say something about the doors that lead to love. I love the imagination of doorways and portals and thresholds. The heart knows that we are always on the threshold of awakening and transformation, to remind people that no matter how barren life gets, we are always on the verge of a threshold. We are always facing doors that are waiting to be opened by our longing and allow us entry again to the territory of Eros and love. Why you came here. You that came to birth in order to bring the mysteries back to life. All of you who came to life to bring the wonder back. Your voice in song makes all the creatures of the world very happy. So please sing from your soul and tear the veil off this moment of becoming. So the moments of becoming are what we're looking for, what we're secretly seeking for.
That's the journey back home through all these layers.
Because in those moments, we reveal ourselves to ourselves. Both love and other initiations are acts of self-revelation. Loving is a kind of initiation in which we become ourselves in a deeper way while also giving ourselves away. That's part of what the surrender means. In order to love, we must be revealed as ourselves. And in loving another, we also find ourselves. In loving, we come into contact with the deeper self within us. For that is the part of ourselves that knows love and knows how to love others, but also how to love the world. We love through the agency of an awakened deeper self within us. In loving, we feel the love that the greater self within has for us, as well as for the living world.
Where is it? Why is it here like this? The flat earth to me is not an end of discussion. Flat earth to me is a stepping stone to understanding a much deeper paradigm that we're in.
The good timeline is ours for the taking, okay?
We fall into the garden of love so that the roots of the self can release the knowledge hidden within us and extend the branching and the flowering of our soul out to others, but also to the world. Someone's love for us can open the gates, but unless we find ways to love ourselves, the gates will close before us again.
All of this is personification. The world we in is a simulation. The bodies that we are in are our gamer's avatar.
We have to see how valuable each and every person is and how we are accountable, for the world we choose to embrace, because that's going to be the world we have moving forward.
As long as we don't have fear and as long as we are pure.
You are your own savior, you are. And you should believe in yourself. All of you should.
That we are instruments here to be played by the movements of Eros and the expressions of love. For those are the elements of creation, which are trying to be found in the midst of the darkness and the chaos. Love reduces the ego, diminishes it, will even mistreat it until it finally surrenders and allows the depths where love resides to open, to be entered, and to spread forth. Love requires a falling down that leads us to places where we can surrender to the mysteries of the body's knowledge and the wisdom that can only be found in the deep self within. Remember that we are initiates on the path, trying to awaken to our genuine selves, trying to find the gates of surrender that we can only open with the love woven into our own hearts and souls.
It's because the soul, by definition, is the observer. And we actually observing reality, like we say, is all in the mind. And when we get our mind under control, we'll make better actions, and then we'll have better feelings in our heart. We'll heal our heart.
You are enlightenment. You don't become a soul, like you are the soul.
In that process, the mind is the servant of the heart.
What we love is the cure. And right now, we all need some medicine. We all need some cure. We all need more Eros, more love, more soul.
The greater awareness, the cosmic awareness.
Once you have isolated everything that is wrong, there's nothing left to look at but what is right.
When we make the two become one, whenever we do our transmutation, and we shift lower energy, we transmute our lower selves into our higher selves.
Our souls were conceived in the heavens, and our body was born on earth. So I'm taking all this mythology and bringing it back to me. That's what I do over here, the knowledge of self, how you was formed. Your world is around you, but it's being projected out of you. This whole universe is God's ecosystem, which they call it an ecosystem. The universe told you to bear your own fruit from your own tree, which is find something in you that you can offer for the world that people will support you for. The people that support you appreciate you for being you.
Because you can never lose yourself if you're true to yourself. And that's the truth.
You can heal your life through multiple channels and layers. You just got to execute on that.
Anytime we can flip the way that the magnet spins. It's only done within.
You must be born again.
The clues we're looking for can be found in our own soul. Progress becomes a story of steady triumph over all obstacles encountered, along with a hope of reaching a place of freedom from all limitations, and thus a state of eventual fulfillment. The phoenix must fall, and must allow the fall into the flames and into the ashes in order to find in those unseen depths the archetypal energies of renewal and revivification that gives it wings again.
See, symbolism reveal all.
You create your own simulation, you create your own field, and you are that energy source, part of the whole, but you're separate in the sense of you being an individual and having your own kind of simulation inside your mind. So I definitely love that whole aspect. You got to be your own Taurus field.
But this initiation is how we get our black belt or our ring, that's how we activate our godhood.
It's not the full experience or the full joy or the full satisfaction that comes to the individual who releases something from inside himself. The whole theory of philosophy is based upon release. It is based upon the individual moving from his own internal out into a world of personal self-expression. This road that leads from the internal out is a broad highway. It is a road along which many basic ideas have to travel. It is the road along which consciousness moves into manifestation. It is the road in which inner growth is made possible. All around us we observe a road by which all theory is tested by application.
It was the most spoken of generation in the ancient world. They prophesied about us. You really need to understand that you are at the center of your own universe. Now let me show you something. What you're looking at is the god El. He represents the Phi. Phi is the symbol for the house. So when you say El Phi, you're saying the house of El. The house of El is the modern solar system that houses all of the worlds that you've been taught we live in. So one of those worlds is Earth, where we live at. They're called worlds because they whirl around Saturn. This is Saturnalia knowledge because the Earth is Saturn. It's a ringed world. It's a ripple effect. This symbolism is tying together all the events in heaven and earth together. If you look at the solar system that they're teaching you, it's baloney. It makes no sense. There's no science with it. It's a religion. It's an occult religion to hide the true science of the ripple effect of life. Let me show you the truth. Here's the secrets of creation, guys. The expanded universe. The point of singularity is the point where creation was conceived. Not created, but conceived. The creator didn't have to create creation. The creator only is what I call a divine intellect. It's a divine intelligence that exists in every inch of reality around you. You can't escape it. If you drop a seed in the ground, it know to become a tree. If you blow smoke out of your mouth, it know to go up and not down. Something is intelligent governing every inch of creation before us, and we're ignoring it. There's a divine intelligence permeating through the entire creation.
You always want to check the alchemy of this. Our reality is made up of alchemy. That's the big secret. I'm telling you, it's alchemy, man.
So the concept of the soul taking a journey to the earth was told in the Christ story. You're the Christ. We are the Titans. This is what the Titan represent. You inside of your energy field. Shu. You see the god Shu right there? Shu bigger than all them other people, ain't it? Because he's a Titan. But that's you though. You is Shu. You are Shu. Here you go right here. You're in the middle of the earth, man. Everyone is in the middle of their own universe, and we're projecting our own sky. That's your sun and moon. And you your own North Pole spinning around your own sun and moon. Life is a dream, and the people in this dream are about to become lucid. That's when we're gonna start activating this junk DNA. And that's why they trying to stop that ascension right now with the technology. Cause Shu is about to be manifested on the earth, or the true Christ, Yeshua. And that's when we start activating this energy at the spinal cord where Shu is at. Shu is a Titan. And you can see we are Titans as well. Cause Shu just represent you inside of your auric field. You inside of this egg is like you inside of your mama's belly waiting to be born again. Yeah, you was born out of your mama.
You must control your own mind.
But now you gotta be born out of Nut, which is the earth, Mother Earth. The simulation around you, Neo. You hear what I'm telling you? Reality is layered. Only thing that's real is rebirth, family. Ain't no end. It's just new beginnings, man. New rippings. New gifts to unrip. Look at it this way. I'm just opening a new gift with a batter me under it. So I can't die. I can only refine myself by ripping through the veils.
Like we'll all be looking back on all of this, like when it's all said and done, and like laughing about how we fought each other, and, you know, how great the story, you know, we wrote was, right? How great the play was, you know, that we all participated in. That's why we can't judge, because unless you understand like the allegory of each story, right, then you don't understand, like, they're all the same damn story about the same damn thing, right? It's like, so, you know, it's all in how you choose to do the process, how you choose to embrace the process, and, you know, whatever relates to you most is, you know, probably the process or the archetype that you should use, you know? Beautiful? Well, thank you. You guys are beautiful too.
Is why we say all is connected, because that pole in the middle powers everything, even the worlds beyond this one. Yeah, this is why the ancestors ain't have a concept of death. They only had a concept of transformation. Now they changed that power source and they put the sun in the middle instead of the North Pole. People. Your goddamn compasses don't point up at the sun. Oh, people.
Be your own Taurus field. You turn off the static, and pay more attention to your life.
This shit's hard, y'all, cause we so dumbed down today. Your goddamn compasses don't point up at the sun. Your compasses point to the place on earth where the most energy is, and it ain't up at the sun. You and this earth is you in your own simulation. We're waking up from a spell. And
you create your own little Taurus field.
Electronic frequency. The ancestors said that's what your DNA is, your vibration. It's an echo or a ripple effect. Yeah, we definitely need to connect with our heart. You're splitting the universe in half by being in the middle of this bubble. And you're the North Pole in your own simulation. That's what this spider represents. You're what's at the North Pole projecting this entire thing outward, y'all. So all of us are at the North Pole projecting our own simulation out of our pods, but none of us left the North Pole is what I'm saying. How you can turn sound into a visual image or light. Symbolism is powerful. Everything have a meaning.
So there are different possible scenarios, but the one thing that remains constant is that you as an individual are a universe unto yourself. You are in a frequency range and a bandwidth that can go far higher than the very environment that encapsulates you. The environment itself has its own bandwidth, learned by intuition, which is the predecessor of knowledge. And then empathy allows them to feel something is real or not. And the agency of imagination is the greatest aspect of the creative soul that we have. It's what it allows us to understand. Man, we are immortal and we're only going through a very temporary experience. So until somebody actually realizes who they are within this construct, they're always going to be tapping back into that fear-based modularity. And that's where I have a problem communicating with people. If they come to me with frames of reference that belong to the collective, I can never really show them who they are.
As many have known and said before, imagination has ways of lighting on the truth that logic can never find. And that connects to the old idea that the other world is also the inner world and the underworld. Outwardly, aspects of the other world manifest as apparitions, as omens.
You are what you are seeking, therefore what you are seeking is simultaneously seeking you.
Because what meditation is presence.
And as we ascend, we're drilling a hole through the ether. The ether is opening up for you as you move forward. It's like you swimming through the water.
Remember who you are and remain grounded in who you are. You've lost nothing.
Because when the soul is saturated in the light, it is a hologram in the underworld. The saturated soul, the higher self is the light of Polaris above his head. That light starts to reach a saturation point on the earth in the form of the body. The body is literally a holographic projection that's stemming from the light of the true soul. But when the light of the Most High falls, the fallen angels are the fallen angles of light. And each of these angles of light become a nerve ending on your holographic body. Think about it while you look at this holographic human.
In the collapse of everything that people continue to describe as normal, we need to be able to imagine beyond the pale, and we need to reclaim our natural inheritance, including the soul's way of living in both worlds. Everything in the world standing up and speaking essentially, can you, can we, stand in ways that give us our speech of the soul back.
This process that is actually happening here, when we dial in, we realize that each of these levels are indeed stories. And what story am I buying into right now?
When the only thing that's forever is the truth. So when you look in the mirror, you're really looking at your own roar, the screaming of your soul. This whole simulation is a little game we play while the real shit is loading. And that's a chicken hatching out the egg. That's our awakening, taking the veil off.
The whole symbol of this is to tell you that we're living in a freaking movie.
Learn knowledge and wisdom about how to heal yourself.
To get us through what's going on right now in this spiritual war.
And then there's going to be a final 144,000 souls that remain behind when everybody else is given the choice to go. Everybody leaves that can, but 144,000 specifically choose to stay here to go through the dark times with those that are trapped on this world. The war has already been won, and that we have volunteered to go through this. We are immortals. The battle has already been won. If you suffer negative default programming, you do it to yourself. Because once you understand that you're an immortal being, a series of informed fields able to do all things, to draw all people and circumstances to you, you will also understand that the very war that you think is going to get waged in the future, called Armageddon, has already happened. The war is already won. We are now living out the last days because the people that are responsible for the condition that we're in aren't just going to cease to exist. They're going to be handled. And this is what the apocalypse is about. And those people hate the fact that this time is coming so much that they've created entire religions to get you to believe that the apocalypse is going to affect you too. And it's not. It's going to target only a certain highly individualized people. They know who they are. They've been running for it for thousands of years, but now the running is over with. This is the principal story of the Book of Revelation. The Book of Revelation isn't about eradicating the common man. It's against the kings and rulers of the world. It's the meek of the earth that inherit everything. But before that happens, before he actually sets the captives free, which is us, he's going to deal with these people, and we're going to get to see it, because they have manipulated, they have starved us, they have enslaved us, they have raped us, they have taken all of our resources, and they have always blamed other people. They have been doing this since the dawn of mankind, since the historical record was ever revealed.
The apocalypse actually means to unveil, to uncover, to the awakened, to the enlightened, to the redeemed, to the elect, to the immortal, to the person that knows their divine inheritance. The apocalypse is an unveiling. It's a peeling back of reality to show what's really happening.
The universe is responding to our will from the inside out. Your genetic makeup is your vibrational frequency. That's how the subconscious, how the soul speaks to the universe.
All the help that we've ever needed is internal.
To the sacred secret of the Christ within, the Christ that dwelleth within. For you see, the kingdom of God is within.
The higher self is the part of man that's connected to immortality, to the heavens. This simulation is a purgatory place where we come to free ourselves of karma.
Very few people know this secret. And that's the secret of God.
All of this energy circling around the spinal cord is ultimately leading from the crown chakra, all right? So let me show you why I say you are a musical instrument. Because if you look at these 7 chakras as 7 strings, because once these things start moving, again, they become 7 strings, like this guitar. Because living your life is simply being. That's it, period. To be or not to be.
First, you gotta get your peace, your silence, your foundation, and then go from there.
So the all-seeing eye is the drip that created the ripple effect and sent us on a journey outward, out of Eden, to get us back to that all-seeing eye above this drip right here. Outside of Babylon, we're peeling back the layers that create the limitations of the mind. This is you inside of your auric field, and you riding the wave wave of your own auric energy. Life is an experience that you're riding from the inside out. It's a wave. Each of these chakras wrapping around a spinal cord become a string of light circling an axis point. This is what your 7 chakras are doing. They're orbiting you, and the orbit create the aura, and it create the crown chakra. This is the holy grail of knowledge I'm giving you. Now check this out. The body is inside of the aura that's created by the chakras orbiting around you. The chakras orbiting around you is the light that's projecting your holographic avatar into this grid simulation. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying, or is it too deep for you? Your body ain't physical. It's a holographic projection of light that's taking place from the top down. And because the light is projecting itself from the top down, it feels like you're being held to the ground, and they call it gravity. This is you in the middle of your energy field. But what is creating that shape in the middle? It's the energy around it. And what's creating the energy around it? The shape in the middle. This is a symbiotic relationship, and it has the root word sim in it, because you can't have a simulation without a symbiotic relationship. Because this thing have to power itself, and that is the secret of how it's doing it. Look at that. This is how your body is not only formed, but powered as well. So if you look at the shape in the middle of this thing, and then look at the human body, everything play a role.
You know, Jesus is the crystal. That's what Christ is. It's the crystallization. Mary is the water. The Holy Spirit is the etheric energy. The crucifixion is the alchemical transformation that happens. The 3 days of darkness in the tomb, that is the transformation. The coming out of the tomb at sunrise and staring into the morning sun is how you activate the pineal gland and cause the melatonin and the serotonin to dance with each other, which causes the etheric powers to come down into your pineal gland. And so the whole entire New Testament is really the story of alchemy itself. And it actually is a really important book, but not for the reasons that anybody is talking about.
Build yourself into something that is a worthy adversary to these fucking demons.
We have the ability to be self-aware that we're self-aware. And the way back to ourselves is within ourselves. That is how you conquer duality. That is how you conquer the world, right within yourself. The revolution that so many people are waiting for is right within themselves. It simply is. There is no description. That's what I am represents. I am is presence. And I am represents us all being that same presence. We're not human.
You need to look in the mirror and understand who you truly are. There is a force in this world that's actually aiding us. And humanity has not been abandoned. Because had that been the case, then the control mechanisms would have already taken over. The human race would have been a slave species. And this just hasn't happened. There's still way too much beauty, there's too much happiness, and there's too much freedom in the world today for this to be true. There must be a benefactor. It's not something we see evidence of. You intuitively feel it. You just know. El Payaso Ali.
That's how we activate our godhood. The word mystery is my story, revealing the mystery to you, because we in the age of Aquarius, where the water in the heavens is gonna wash away the illusion and wash away the deception. That's what's happening now in the heavens, so it's happening on earth.
You know, you just gotta flow, and you will know and you will grow. It will just come, man. It will just come. Hey, brother Ali, you know, you are amazing, you're seen, you're loved. I love your work, I love your inspirational videos. You do so much to raise the vibration and inspire people through your creative editing and collecting the fragments of information that's scattered throughout the world from various people to bring it together into one beautiful alchemy of wisdom. Loving your work, brother, as always, and I'm looking forward to this one. This one's it's already sounding amazing. Love it, brother, love it.
When you become conscious, that's all you is, and you ain't shit else. You just conscious.
Don't look to your mind now, just for a moment. Just be aware of your own sense of being.
The spirit world affects the physical, and then the physical world affects the spirit, but it don't happen vice versa. because the spirit was before the physical.
And every creative act empowers every other creative act.
Dealing with the goddess Amma and Amma's egg, showing you that the stars in the sky are universes, and each star is us, loading our own universe. And we're all waiting to be born out of our own universe. Now, when one of them stars in the sky, like one of these eggs, when it busts open, guess what they say? A star just died. Guess what they tell you though? They say at the death of each star, that star is reborn even more powerful. The key out this bitch is your heart gotta be right. We're the stars, y'all. Every star in the sky represents a person's consciousness that's beaming them down to this earth. There's a star in the sky for each of us.
That's us. We are co-creators. We are responsible for the very world that we're a victim of now. We have built this for ourselves, to experience for ourselves, and it's the dungeon programming by which we have to learn how to free ourselves from, because it's not something anybody can teach you how to do. And the only way that someone can actually guide you to the truth in that is to basically live by example. You cannot force this information on anyone.
Once you break out of this cosmos, you're a chicken that cracked out of the egg. The God that's called the Most High is you. You've been hatched by the Great Mother.
With a fire inside of them which cannot be extinguished.
They said Jesus wore a crown of thorns and he was on top of Mount Calvary with his arms spread out. And what they're giving you is this whole magnetism right here. This is Christ on top of the mountain with his arms spread, and above that he got his crown of thorns on. They just teaching you about magnetism, right? But they're using Christ's story to mystify it and hide it. Eucharist, uterus, Lazarus, all of this stuff, you know, along the same etymology. Utter us, meaning to speak us into existence. We're all vibrational beings. If you're a vibrational being, you're saying you're a sound wave. Who spoke the sound into being? For him to break the outer shells, he gotta break the inner shells. It's called implosion. And once he removed a man in the middle, there will be nothing to foundate this matrix around him. All of the shells will implode inward like a waterfall flowing into the core of the self. And that waterfall flowing into the core of the self will be stripping through each of the layers as they all fall inward till there's no more layers left. And you'll reveal the true self and you out of the simulation. You inside of a ripple effect. They call this Pan's Labyrinth, y'all. Let me show it to you. It's you in the middle of your own universe dancing with the devil. The reason that we got chakra layers around our body is because your consciousness landed into this dimension and it created a ripple effect. Now you gotta conquer the effect, because you ain't the effect, you're the cause. Because it can't be nothing without sound, vibration. Something is in you that's in me. And when we figure out what this shit is together, we're gonna find ourselves. And that's what we're doing. And the chakra points are the different steps, the different layers that we gotta make it through to make it to the real self. Because this is like a mirror house illusion. Fire rises. Your soul was referred to as an eternal flame. And now we understanding what ascension is all about. Flames of fire don't burn downward, they burn upward toward the heavens. See what I'm saying? Now check how deep this is. The universe is said to be a sphere, atmosphere, and the earth is the horizon line outside horizontal line, or the diameter of a circle. This is the electromagnetic field of the heart. All of the energy around our body being coming from the center part of us. It's creating a huge energy grid around the body, a torus field. Our energy is unified with the energy of what we call in God source light. There's only one creator, and it's being refracted and reflected by infinity. So if you can think of what I'm showing you here, right? As if you only had one circle of light that was spinning. But since it was spinning so fast, it looked like an infinite amount of circles was going around that pole, when actually it's just one circle. It's just one, but it's going so fast. The light is going so fast around the pole that you don't see it as one trajectory, one circle of light now. You see it as multiple circles, but the concept of multiplicity now being an illusion. Guess what kind of illusion? A holographic illusion. What kind of holographic illusion? Let's narrow it down some more. An illusion that would be based upon holographic distortion. Now we know why everything in the universe is a creature of light, but you also composed of the static ether. You are a disturbance in the water.
Who chains us and who holds the key that can set us free? It's you. You have all the weapons you need. Now fight. What's interesting is this. We talk often about who controls the world, and we talk about the people behind governments and people who are controlling the media and all these people who are in control. But truthfully, us as the people have a huge percentage of power. They're only as in control as we allow them to be. If we resist the slave mind and resist the programming, if we watch the things they tell us to watch and say no, it's very difficult for them to control things. Knowledge is power and independent think is power. And when they say who really controls, who has the key to set us free, it's you. It's absolutely and utterly us. It's always going to be you. You watching this stream, you have to sit and understand that you are enslaved by your own beliefs that they've fed you. You need to be able to throw them away to become something more. And you think for yourself. Once you resist the slave mind, you're automatically against the matrix. So your choices are either to resist the slave mind and join the battle as the resistance, like you people are, but then the battle is different. Be yourself. You can't escape this war. You are on territory which is being battled for. The battleground is your mind.
Which means that everything in history leads up to this event of liberation. And so it means if one person begins that means that everything before that is leading up to everything that is taking part in that. It's the same thing for everyone though, because everyone eventually takes that journey, but it's usually mentally to the point where when you find liberation in your own life, everything that you lived before that, every choice you made, led up to that one event in your life. So this is just what we're experiencing for our species now because somebody figured out the secrets.
There's no light without dark. There's no joy without pain.
Everyone's earth is founded on an immovable foundation because you're your own foundation to your own simulation.